Hello, in this video we will discuss about the interaction in ecosystem. So what is the ecosystem? Ecosystem means the different communities combined together. We can say that is ecosystem. Ecosystem is made up of biotic and abiotic factor which that is interrelate to each other. And ecosystem will made up of plant and an animal, and both are interact and beneficial or harmful or commensalism. We will discuss also what is this. So basically the interaction in ecosystem can be interspecific interaction and intraspecific interaction. Interspecific interaction means within the ecosystem between the two population, for example, or three population, while the intraspecific interaction means the interaction between the population between the same species, for example competition and other things. So remember that intraspecific and interspecific. Intraspecific means that within the species, within the population, while the interspecific mean between two population. So interaction is basically used for the beneficial problems. For example, let's begin to understand the type of interaction. What is the type of interaction? It can be competition, intra-competition, intraspecific or interspecific, and predation, which that is between the different population. Symbiosis is a mutual relationship, remember, and this can be mutualism, commensalism, and parasitism. So in this way the competition is basically interspecific or intraspecific. Interspecific competition means between the two population, for example lion and deer, so the predation will be occur. And the intraspecific means within the, for example human classroom, for working, for getting good marks, so that is competition. While the predation is predation and depend to the prey and predator, and symbiosis is the different type of relationship. So for example, let's begin to understand with the, here you can see this is the earth, which that's contain biosphere, which contain water as well as terrestrial environment. So the light will be fall on the tree is autotrophs, grass, algae. So the algae produce 90% oxygen as compared to the plant. So in this way the algae is also the autotrophs. So here's the ecosystem 1, ecosystem 2, it can be interact to each other, and ecosystem 2 is you can see, and 3 ecosystem, for example the water bodies, the water animals live in the hydrophytes and hydroorganism, the water living freshwater organism. So in ecosystem the natural resources, for example nutrients, space, etc., are usually in short supply. So there is competition among the organism of ecosystem for utilization of resources, can be intraspecific or interspecific. So in this way in our earth the resources is limited, so the competition will begin as compared, it can be interspecific or intraspecific. And for example the intraspecific mean within the population, it means the one individual will more fit and more easy to adopt itself, while the other will be delete in that population due to the less adaptive. So that is the evolutionary process will trigger from this manner. So here is the competition in plant also occur. What that means? The competition in plant means the larger plant will capture more light for photosynthesis and grow more, while the shorter plant will not chance to get light more. So it means it will not more modified and more growth will not occur. So in this way, a seed for killing grasses and small plant as a parasitism from the large plant, which that will kill that small plants. It is known as the competition. And competition help in maintaining a balance between the available resources and the numbers of individual of a species. For example, which that is suffering during the competition, it will be some individual can be evolve and fight against the competition. So that is important reason. So let's begin to understand a side notes here. The interaction in an ecosystem will lead to competition, and competition will lead to adaptation, evolution, and modification. Passage of time, generation after generation will be modified. For example, a lion will capture the deer easily or difficult when difficulty will be occur. The next generation will capture easily. While on the case of deer is also competitive, so it means that those deer which that will be unable to escape, so that will be escape from the population, and the escaped deer will be reproduce more and create a new varieties of the gene activation. So the interspecific interaction means the carnivores versus herbivores. Carnivores depend to the herbivores for the predation. So the prey is the prey of the lion is a deer, and lion is a predator. So the intraspecific competition within the grazing species, for example, for grazing reproduction in herbivores, for example, deer. So those more adapted and more fit and more energetic can be grazed more easily, and the other which that is a maladaptive will not get more food, so it will be delete in the species through a death or something. So the intraspecific competition always stronger and more severe than the interspecific competition. For example, in the class, one person can be first, but not all. So here is the predation. Predation, it is an interaction between animal of different species or between a plant and an animal. In predation, one organism, the predator, attack, kill and feeds on other organism, the prey. So in this way, the intraspecific predation can be occur intraspecific when resources will be less. So the human to human killing is also the best example for the intraspecific predation. While on the other hand, the interspecific predation means when resources will be more. For example, lion will interact with a deer for the predation, and the deer is the prey, and lion is the predator. Remember about these things. And when resources will be more, so lion will attack easily to the deer, because resources mean the increase of the number of deer in the population. So that is easy to understand. Let's begin to understand the symbiosis. Symbiosis is also the part of interaction in ecosystem. For example, in a relationship between different species for some reason, for getting food, for getting shelter, or for getting something, for absorption of water. So it is the part of mutualism, commensalism, and parasitism. Parasitism. So first of all, we will need to understand the mutualism. Both partner beneficial to each other. For example, termite eat wood but not able to digest a protozoa. We live in its not digest cellulose. So a protozoa live in its intestine, and it secretes cellulase to digest cellulose. So the especially helping bacteria which can be used energy from the termite, while it will produce the cellulase for the digestion of the food, for example cellulose, because termite eat wood. So the commensalism is the only one is beneficial. For example, epiphyte or small plant found growing on other large plants for space only. So the using the space from the epiphytes. Epi mean above of the large plant. So the phyto mean plant. So the one individual, for example, the epiphytes can be beneficial, but the large plant neither harmful nor beneficial. So the parasitism is the only one is harmful. Mosquito is the parasite of human, and bacterial infection, viral infection, and permanent parasitism and non-permanent parasitism. Mosquito. while the permanent parasitism will infect more and cause the infection for replication. The permanent parasitism need the reproduction with the host machinery. So in this way increase their population. So the host can survive without parasite, but parasite cannot survive without host. So thanks for watching. This was the interaction in ecosystem.